horse build up the seas, set the serpents alight. Define the heights, behold your sight. For those windmills, let them run again. 'Cause I will fight. Let it be the cold rain, be it battle I cannot survive, or another cursed spirit come from the tide. Every morning, every night, my fate confide. Beyond our years upon the bridge across the stranger light. Those devils never break out of their great disguise. So I will fight. Another soul, another falsely fight. Those rambling words they pressed upon my soul. Every inch I march towards the fatal side. Against the winds, against the lights, I shall conquer that. 'Cause when you stop to dream, your whole heart gives into life.
Listen and you'll hear the heartbeat of a universe teeming with force. See all the forms and the faces of nature taking its course. And feel all the wonderful motion flowing through things far and near. Nature will share her secrets when we are ready to hear. Energy, these are a few of your faces, glowing in timeless places, bringing our lives new graces. Energy, there is no living without you. We must keep learning about you. Now is the time to find how to. Energy, you are profound. You make the world go round and round. You make the world go round. You make the world go round. You make the world go round.
Thank you, Energy. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hello, hello, hello. Hope you are having a good Wednesday evening. Thank you, Always Be Clothing, Bloodborne, PC20, Never, Nukatronic, and Orchid Mans for the stream streaks. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Boy, oh boy. What a day, huh? Yes, I have. I know. Poor Barry. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. There's that. Did you guys see this? The Saber Interactive CEO losing his mind? Jesus Christ! Holy shit! But Mary, well, let's Twitch automatically opted everybody into having AI train on your streams or chat. And like, you know, Mario's or Twitch, so she had to kind of be on a live stream where they talked about it and took questions from the community, right? If you want to turn that off, go under your security and privacy tab in your settings, scroll down, look for the thing that says training for generative AI and click that. Turn that off, yes. Do that. But yes, it's no, you know, I think we could all guess how Mary feels about these things, and I do feel terrible for her. What about my problems, everybody? Right? You see what they made me put on the my fucking Giant Bomb store? Boy salad? Store.giantbomb.com. I think we sold 12 of these somehow. It's not even an Arby's thing. It's a boy salad thing. It was just nachos, apparently. Look at all these amazing colors you can get your boy salad in. There you go. Amazing. Wow. Yeah, I saw some of that stuff about the Final Fantasy IX remake being like, had a lot of work done it, then they pulled the plug. I don't know. I just hope, look, if it, like, they pulled the plugs, they don't think it was looking good, it's one thing. I hope they aren't so in their heads about the whole, man, if it's not a 3-part game, is anybody gonna even care? Ugh. Like, even if you took Final Fantasy IX and had to, like, extrapolate on it a little bit because of things, let's say it was a 90-hour game all of a sudden. That's 3 times longer than the original. It takes about 30 hours, maybe a bit more. Right? Plenty of games are 90 hours long. That could be one game still. What if Final Fantasy IX had Fantasia-style graphics? Maybe. Could probably work. I don't know. They had to figure out. Why do I have to figure it out? They need to figure it out. Ugh. But we're playing Elden Ring. We are in the place where the Lord of the Frenzied Flame is, so we're gonna fight him. Yeah, Square Enix is weird. They are weird. That's why I never turned that on. Oh well. Keep it off for one day. It's fine. Save some energy, right? Did Elliot pop? I think Elliot did okay. Oop, wrong one. There I am. I mean, maybe it's probably doing good. I don't know if it like popped off, but I don't know. I've not really been following it that much. Oh, all bricks I was with the lake showered. So you're fine. It's funny. Am I excited for the Game Awards 4 stream Saturday? Sure, I'm more excited for the park stuff, to be honest. Is that working? Let's see. Def count working? Yep. All right. Probably, like, look, don't expect this to be the stream where we beat freaking Radon. I bet we're going to be kept plenty busy doing this boss, and then maybe some of the other ones. Maybe Bale. All right. Yeah, we're here. I just don't wait to stream. I'm going to be able to stream for like 2 hours. It's already kind of late. And then this weekend I have a called Fan Expo. It's in Chicago. It's where the Hobbit actor's going to be. Apparently Kurt Russell's going to be there too. Hey babe, how's it going? Killed them all in this. So, no, it should be back on Sunday though. So maybe Sunday night we'll be able to stream. I can't remember if this boss is actually all that hard or not. I don't know. Probably hard enough. Just one of these go into the painting ones. Yeah, kind of. All 4 of the Hobbit actors, Elijah Wood, Billy Boyd, Dominic Monaghan, and Sean Astin are going to be there. What about some other Lord of the Rings actors? I think Miranda Otto's going to be there. What's my favorite? I'm a big Billy Boyd guy. I always like Pippin. Do you think that just release Mario Sunshine NSO version is just as good as the 3D collection? I mean, I bet it's exactly the same, honestly. I don't know what would be different. I'm excited to organize my GameCube collection on there again. I like just putting those things in the right spots. Ow. Jesus. Ooh, got lucky there. VoiceOut.com now directs the Giant Bomb. Great. Is it Pippin because of Edge of Night? I always liked Pippin. Even when I read the books, I liked Pippin. Thoughts on John Carpenter movies? Lots of good ones. Lots I haven't really seen. Actually, I think John Carpenter's going to be there. Is that right? I think John Carpenter's also going to be at this thing, now that he says that. So, that's interesting. The Thing's the best. I think that it's The Thing and Big Trouble in Little China are my favorites. I kind of didn't love Escape from New York when I saw it for some reason, so I might have to do it again. I might have to see it again. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't. I thought I was going to love it. I thought it was going to be way up my alley, and I didn't love it. God, what's going on here? Who would you suspect of being the Thing in the Giant Bomb crew? Jan. Aw, Sweet Jan. It would be Sweet Jan, unfortunately. Oh, come on. I even knew he was coming. Oh, God. Dancing cat. There you go. Hey, Chuck's been on for a while, all right? Now, what is this gonna open? Why are so many people dead right here? I feel like something's gonna crush me. What did that accomplish? Here we go. Have you ever had a day that wasn't really that stressful, but you still just feel incredibly stressed out for some reason? Oof. Yeah, every day. Only every day. It's like all the other stuff going along. Also, like small things. Like I spilled this. The nice 90s Disney listener sent like items to make a cocktail for our cocktail episode. And one of them was a bottle of cola syrup. Very thoughtful, in a glass bottle. I opened my fridge. It just kind of fell out and crashed on the floor. Which one? It's a bummer because it was this nice thing. I say there's some of it was okay, but also a giant mess. Right, so I was just like, oh, God, I really didn't want that to happen. Stop it. I forgot to open up my shadow tree fragment things. Not the cold syrup. I know. I mean, I think I might have enough. I might ask the guy, like, okay, look, how do I make some of this in case I need more? I'm out of mana. And by mana, I mean stamina. Oh, please don't kill me. Jeez. That was a lot of fucking rats. Would you live in a house if it's with ants that meant you got to live 20 years longer? Like for my entire life? What's infested by ants mean? I don't know. At least 20 good years. You can't be ants with you. I love some ants. He's not doing well. Just fill the wall of water. Oh, look at this. Nice. If I leave a sandwich out, it gets covered with ants in 30 seconds. They sell your game collection on electronics, though. Well, that's something. I'm leaning towards yes, but I don't like it. I think that's more in case I fall. Oh, do I really want to fall down there just to get whatever that item might be? How could it possibly be important? Oh, I can't go any further anyways, alright. Oh god, I almost missed it. Runes are runes. Guys are going down surprisingly easily. This is the sim before the fall. A pull the lever, Kronk. There we go. That's what we needed. You think we can make this jump? I have my doubts! Oh, we're good. Kind of a neat location. There's a big boy down there. Something's gonna fall, no? How's this? It's an actual torch weapon. Nope. Oh my god. Where's my weapon? What the hell? I didn't unequip it. Oh. Big boy. Easy backstab. Alright, it's fine. Be wary of right. Ah. Don't need that. They're re-releasing War in the North. I think the Xbox 360 one I never played much of. I've heard some like praise. It might be faint praise, but I've heard some praise for. All right, that's the boss. I have enough runes that if I could like pop off here and not have to worry about that, that would be awesome. Let's see if it's possible. Well, actually, just one might do it. Wanted some change. How many more do I need? Math is hard. Basically 10,000 more, so I guess I just better take this next smoke. That's fine. I could just kill some people at this point. They're right here. They'll give me enough. That big person here? They weren't that tough. That'll do. Bounce a lot. I mean, if they did Return of the King in Two Towers, it's hard to imagine the movie scene stay in, huh? Die! I don't care. We did it! Easy. I don't know why there's a cutscene.
I have endured
Enough of your words.
more than enough.
The gasp.
I ask you forgive me, dearest Nanaya.
I don't know why you don't like this game, Peyton. Look at the nice imagery. Don't worry, we'll help him feel better. Ow. Damn it. Yeah. Learn these combos. I have to do this part. Alright, what do you have to say? Oh, I guess easy to get these each time, huh? Oh, he hit me? That's embarrassing. He hit me twice. That's silly. I shouldn't let that happen. This guy's got some health, huh? Damn it. What's she doing? Ow. Oh. Okay. There's a lot of fire. Oh yeah, we'll be fine.
Depths of your foolishness!
Oh, I don't know what to do for that. Oh boy. I might need to put my fire protection thing on, huh? That'd be a good idea. Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely putting that fire charm on. I'm so confused, like, does this include fire damage? Fire damage is non-physical. Is this like, should I have the fire thing on? This or both of them? I don't really understand. Does it just mean magic damage when it says non-physical? Because fire's not physical damage, right? But I don't really know what it means. Hey, J2 World Peace, thank you for 25 months. Appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hip hop. Hip to the hippity hip hop, to the bang bang boogie to the bang bang boogie to jump up, the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. To the hip hop, a hippie to the hippity to hip hop hippity, don't stop the rockin' to the bang bang boogie to up the boogie to the rhythm to the boogie the beat. I guess like that, right? Does advanced view show impact on fire resistance? Where's advanced view? I don't know how to advanced view. There we go. And it looks like my fire resistance would in fact go down if I put that on instead of this. What if I put it on instead of, say... Now my fire resistance does in fact go up. So it is fire resistance. Do I need max stamina? I'm basically attacking this guy one time. Try this. I am Wonder Mike, and I'd like to say hello. It's a great song. That one part where these go on about Superman being gay for a while is a little weird. Oh, for fuck's sake. What's attacking you? Oh boy. Almost died right away. I'm already almost frenzied, huh? Oh boy. Oh, it's on way to die. You don't remember that I'm playing as gay? I think one of the lines is, he is a fairy, I suppose, something, 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 and pantyhose. Oh look, there's we did the Satan number, everybody, we did it.
The depths of your
Don't forget there's a radio edit and then there's the full song. You still got a little. Hey, Dekoth, what would you want me to play the tin whistle? Any requests? I guess it's not, I don't take requests, do I? I just play something. Yeah, never mind. I'm not taking requests. How dare you even ask? Oops. Can't seem to dodge that. I'll have to figure something else out there. Oops. Oh boy. What is that? Wow, cool. Oh, you do it twice. Right. I'm gonna die here, no? Ah, neat. Now we know. Spin. Then goes 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Roll! Oh, madness. I'm getting there. No, we're not training anything. Oh, yeah, I should just sing Number of the Beast the entire time. 6. 6, 6. Yeah, it's not gonna work. There you go. For it is a human number. Six. 666. Number of the beast. No, never seen Build Temple.
Depths of you.
Is there a scene I'd like? Is there now? Ow. Oh boy. Ah. Whoa. Oof. Double heal. One, two. 1, 2, 3. I should roll into that so I can actually attack. I got it. Missed that timing. Can I run away from this or not? Let's see. Yes, we can. Good to know. Ah! Laser. Right, 2. Oh boy. Oh, I got the bleed off? Oh, don't get me. Don't frenzy me. That was a huge bleed, huh? Don't frenzy. Oh. Mike. You know he does that twice. Okay. Cool. We can bleed him, so that's nice. The bleed happens in the second phase. That's very nice.
Depths of you.
Damn it. Sometimes he ducks, I swear. That's kind of his biggest combo. Oof. cool looking move, man. Oh, I thought of something else. Damn it, damn it. Yeah, almost. Bad timing. Damn, oh, damn, that does some damage. Okay. If I could have gotten that bleed off, I might have been close there. It's a fun fight, though. Oh, Mount McGregor, thank you so much for subscribing to Prime. Appreciate that. I don't know if it is Mount McGregor. It's just, there's two T's. MTT, McGregor. Thank you so much for Prime. Appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't played Fox Quest 2, yes, that's for sure.
Depths of you.
Yes. Clipped me. Already? Ah. Oh boy, you're too close to me. Oh, that sucks. Alright, getting hit by that sucks. Learned most of his combos, though. In fact, you could say I almost am certain I'm gonna beat this guy soon. Oh, what's this? A bet?
The depths of your foolishness.
Great start. Great start. Maybe I'll die to this version of him. Maybe I will. Fuck me. I guess we're gonna heal. Jesus. The vibes are off. Look. I'm not responsible for the vibes. I guess I am, actually. I think I'm literally responsible for this. Probably hit him twice after that, honestly. Warp. This is fine too. You must be doing this, yeah. Okay. I must have actually rolled through it once or something and not getting teleported to me. Because I was pretty far away that time. I don't know. Sometimes he stays there, and that helps a lot.
depths of
Oh, there they are. I'm like, where are my souls? Oops, I'm not gonna get them. Who cares? Come on. Wow, there we go. Jeez. That they can't be stacked makes me think my other one might be better here. But I don't know, maybe I do need distance also. It's fine, we're fine. Whew. Oh boy. Ugh. Stun was nice, and again, it's making me think maybe if I was just doing jump attacks this entire time, this might be going even better. Let's try a jump attack build. Real quick. Piece for this guy. Nah, I won't get the bleed though. What would I take off? I guess this is fine. No, I'm still rolling. Don't worry.
the depths of
Yeah. No one saw that. You didn't see nothing. Oh boy. I'm like, did it jump? No. Jump didn't matter. Like when, oh, no, you have to do 3 more. Oh boy. I'm losing my stunts. Just do it. I shouldn't have done that. Oh boy. Oh. Roll! Okay. How am I not getting the stun now? Stun! Maybe it can't be stunned in phase 2. We're gonna probably beat him anyways, because the damage is so good. But the initial point of this plan is not working. Yeah, I even like kind of duck under him sometimes with this thing. Is this still the better weapon after all that? Jump attacks, man. That was I was just doing more damage, that's for sure. Right, like, I just kept accidentally dunking under him with this. Which maybe is more of a this thing here, but yeah. Alright, there we go. They're both +10, yeah. They're both +10, man. Stagger's just so good. I didn't even stagger. I mean, I never staggered him or bled him, so those didn't matter. It's just Bloodfang's a good weapon. Jeez, that's a lot of runes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, one thing is hoping this thing is that I have, when I level up strength, I get a little something. Not much, and I won't do it anymore, to be honest. All right. Yeah, that's a good point. This guy had a lot of big openings. That's probably part of why it works really well here. How do I get here again now is my question, because I don't remember. Yeah, we can worry about it later. We can do this one first. Because the only other big boss, there's a guy under the church if I do all this shit, and then there's Baal. That's basically it. So I guess let's get to this thing, which would mean getting up here, which would be somewhere around here, maybe. Maybe it's related to this. I don't know. Let me open up my thing, too, of Biscuity Tree fragments. Banging and banging, baby. Yeah, where even are? I mean, there's 4 more inside that last area. I think there's one hippo I actually didn't get yet. Hilariously enough. I don't even know you... Yeah, what's this tower about? Who's Rabath? They aren't Ranny. They're fucking with me. Somewhere, alright. Traption doesn't move. I guess I need to ride the thing somewhere. There we go. I ain't using that. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, yeah. Whoops. Sometimes it be like that. Yeah, I like the cannon and Lies of P. I just don't see myself this late in the game being like, yeah, we'll use a cannon for shits and giggles. Let's get those souls. I just not very many souls, but still, what the hell? I gotta figure out how to get up there. don't even know where they put my souls, to be honest. Here they are. Okay. I'll take it. 106 souls. Can't lose that. Where's this go? Did I ever do this before? It looks like it goes to that flooded area. Right. Oh, yeah, it does. I've been here. How do I get up there? How do I reach these freaking horn things? Just find a map. Erd tree. Finger. Are they seals? No. Horns? Hollowed bells. Oh, I need that fucking oh mother gesture found near Bony Village. I remember that. Which one's Bony Village? Along the shore to the south and coming up them. Whoa. There you go. So I think I can actually reach them through the shore, it says? What, this way? Excuse me, sorry. Caught up on me. Well. Kind of go right. What is it? What are you talking about? Oh. This is working? Okay. Yeah. Kind of shocked I'm allowed to be down here. Get away from me, fingies. This might be too much of a stream to really thing, but you ever rank all the melee Final Fantasies? Yeah, I've done that before at some point. We'll do it again sometime, though. I will say my big favorites are 14, 6, 9, and 5. Where's this other one? Here we go. I mean, I like 7 and 10 a lot, but, like, it wouldn't quite be S tier for me, is all, you know? It would be A tier, probably. I like 8 a lot also. I like almost all of them. Quite a bit. It's such a weird quote-unquote area. Did that not quite kill you, Snake Man? Eight's fun. It's interesting. What's this? Ow! Hey! What is this? That purple thing on me? I like 12 quite a bit too, as well. Dawn Blue, thank you for 3 months. Appreciate that. I am so sorry about Dan. Hope you're doing well. And in good health. Yeah, the Zodiac version of 12 is great. There's some good stuff in there. Ooh, I didn't realize I got a good seal for that. That's a big boy health upgrade, right? Greatly restores HP restoration from Flask. Oh, that's pretty good. Even better than max health. Yeah, go talk to him. I mean, Don Blue's been quote-unquote working on a Dragon's Lair movie for a long time. Not much has happened yet.
The exalted tomb of the gracious, the start only your fate now. Think nothing of it. I have made my dismay the gleam. May the gleamings. Oh, hell. May the gleaming stars guide you evermore.
Right. I gotta get this Oh Mother gesture. Oh Mother gesture location. Bonnie, far northern edge of Bonnie Village in the Skydew Atlas. Right. Be right back in it. Get a bathroom. Get a bathroom. Get a drink. Go to the bathroom. Do 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 do. I'm dording it. There we go. All right. Where's this village? Everything's like, it's, you know, that village. Like, what? Well, the map doesn't really tell me where the village is. Let me just look at this actual. Okay. I see. Wait. Oh, this is it. This is the Bonnie village. Got it. This place. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I believe there it is. All right. Now we take that. Here. You can, Cade. See, we'll see. We might have someone I want to raid, but we'll see if there's no one on. Oops. There's that. Man, I wish the Munsters movie was good, because I do like the Munsters. Are there any fragments along this way? I'm kind of feeling like the answer is no. Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a no. Which Munster are you, Mike? I'm Herman, obviously. Come on. Ooh, 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 ooh. Munsters are as family big Munsters, actually, which I think that's a hot take. But I'm Munsters. I'm Team Munsters all the way. Whoa. Tree Sentinel. Forcing this. Jesus. A little bit of a close call we got there. Is this one of those one-time, heal things? Gonna be too afraid to use that. You just another tree sentinel, or you just a more of a normal enemy? Oh my god. Ow. Oh, bullshit. Nope. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, running. Heals. Oh, bullshit. Okay, worse. I probably don't have to fight these things, but it is fun. Let's just go back here real quick. I like Bewitched. I like Dream of Genie more than Bewitched. Gil, oh yeah, I like Gil again. Of course, of course. Big Happy Days guy. Where does this go? Anywhere? This is that part of the map that was criticized for being kind of weirdly empty along with the other. There's a shaman village? I don't know if I want to go to the shaman village. Imagine there's anything I need there. Yeah, minor Erd tree. Boxer Blue, thank you for following. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you have a good evening. And Stan, Pot Pie, thank you for the 100 stream streak. Yes, yes, Dort's out. Thank you so much for being here. How do I get down there? Why am I so high up? There are new levels in PUBG 40. Oh my god. Somebody died. There was a Will Ferrell Bewitched movie. I never heard much about it. I assume it's not great. I assume it's probably not terrible. I think Stephen Colbert's in it. Oh, there was a thing right up in here. Right, Nicole Kidman is the witch. I don't know if I'm going to worry about getting to schedule level 20. Guess because that's how I'm going to look at this map. I'm like, all right, which one don't I have? 19 will be doable. I went to the Cheers bar in Boston. I thought it was neat. I mean, it's not a replica of the actual Cheers bar once you're inside it, but I still thought it was cool. But I like Cheers. Here are these assholes again. Get up. Probably could have come up with something better for this area, huh? Jesus. Am I not dead? Oh my god, now I'm dead. Oh, look at that. Mercies of mercies. Is anyone near me at least? Oh, never mind. There's somebody. Hey, that was lucky. Getting Wonderswan time and not a ton. Not a ton. Alright. Oh god, they literally teleport one of these assholes. Oh god. We're almost there. Oof. Thank you. I put this back on. I have not been watching Jeremy Parrish's TurboGrafx 16 series. I should, though. Sounds fun. Yeah, I'm not too worried about these runes.
My poor thing. Another bad dream, Yuri. Put that rotten thing out of your mind.
Yeah.
Tangled mess can't...
Ah, Count Emir's, and for that, I am your... The night is yours.
I heard another sound. Seem the stars have but rest assured. This is no... On the contrary, I believe that now. May you join...
The third? What's the third one? Right, they're below. This is where you just have to reset this area, I think, and then kind of go under his throne as the NPC might attack me. I don't know. Well, I mean, I know about TurboGrafx 16. I had a TurboGrafx 16. Yeah, it was cool. I wish I had more games for it. How do I make this asshole move? It's like... It's like this throne moves.
Oh yes, this evening... Ah, you may... Well, I hope that the poor girl is over her tongue, but don't think that... It's no surprise her little sister, too, has a heart of gold.
I had to ask about the nature of the world a couple
I fear
times.
that you, the conceits, the hypocrisy, is there no hope? The answer, there never was any hope. Marika herself And this is what troubles. No matter our efforts, and we have little recourse.
What's that, Bonk game? Yeah, Bonk was great. There's 3 Bonk games.
Ever young Miquella saw things. He knew that his bloodline was tainted, his roots mired in madness. A tragedy if that he would feel compelled to renounce, and the blame lays. Do you recall what I said? That Marika and the fingers that guided her were unsound from the start.
Sounds right.
Well, it is their mother who is damaged and unhinged. The fingers are but unripe children. We all need a mother, a new mother. A true... May you join?
Excuse me. Got Bonk, you got Airzonk. Legendary Axe. Excuse me. This boss I don't remember super well. The Crash games. Wee. What a thrill. There she is. Oh, nothing so bad. Oh, claws, neat. Here we go. We weren't done yet. Game tube's good. Oh, ow. Okay. Maybe don't stay by those fingies. I'm still sipping on the Dort Light. Okay, it's a steak. What if... That's a lot of runes. I would like to get them. Oh, you're gonna make me do this every time? Come on. Whatever. I remember Finger 11. They did Paralyzer, right? I think they also did Kane's Good theme song. Slow Chemical, which is actually like a huge banger somehow. Thought I had that. Whoa, kind of neat, I'm not gonna lie. I tried to double heal that. Oh, I thought that was gonna kill me. Oh, nice. Oh, come on. What the f... Oh, I'm at the edge of the arena. What was that? Did you see that? Oh. It's like, what's going on? Why can't I get to you? Oh, what the fuck is this? Now we're learning. I kind of got screwed on that one, I'm not gonna lie. Your wife's best friend's uncle owns Great Lakes Brewing? Wow. I mean, you know, I don't expect anything, but that's neat. That's cool, though. I'm mad. I've never seen Freddy got fingered. Hey, Chuck. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate that. Hope you had fun with... You're there. Hope you had fun with Deus Ex. Yeah, everyone. I bet it's very good. That was gonna get me, it did. Oh, it might be toast. Oh, this is a bad start. What the fuck is this? Oh, come on, that's not a jump one. This has been going terribly, man. Ugh. Oh my god. I got that at least. Heal. Oh. Oh my god, I'm not dodging anything. Oh, what? Where did you come from? There's ads? Jeez, that went terribly. Oh, she's a mother, she has children. I guess, but jeez. Ugh. It's blowing this finger again. Blowing the hole. If I can like stay out of range, not activate her yet, that's good. Sometimes it's just twice, I swear. It's fine. Ah, I rolled that. Oh boy. Fine. Pot healing. It was an amazing go. Really gonna make me do this every time? My runes are closer. There we go. Is that a bleed as well? I don't know. I think it's just big damage. All right. Seal. The fuck? Beyblade? Okay. I was like, can I just... Oh boy. Just gonna heal this, methinks. Yep, just heal through it. Yep, it's fine. Luckily our damage has been really good. There we go. I just... Oh. Alright, see you later. Go back where you came from. Alright. Well, that's a ton of souls. Yeah, we just kind of... Really, I felt like we brute forced it more than anything else. Good. Alright. Not much left to do except the two final big bosses here. Now. I think I might even know where all the last Scatter fragments are. What I might do is actually start going through the final dungeon, make our way. Let's get those graces unlocked. Let's fight the bosses along the way. Let's not, do the thing yet. Maybe we'll do the NPCs, but let's make our way through that final dungeon area. What do I do here? As well, get vigor to 60. Can't hurt. Anybody talk to me here anymore? I think I killed them all. I think they're all dead. Maybe that weird graves. Maybe not. Yep, alright. Here we go. I remember there being a lot of difficult, just normal enemies here. I assume we'll find some of these along the way. If not, then I can start going back and looking for them more exactly. Hello. There should be 4 just in this little area. God, that range is good. Excuse me. Wait, what's this? We should go over there first. So many different paths. They'd be branching. So everyone's our cookout barbecue. When I turn 50. Oh, hey, look, yeah, right. Alright, this is where we came after we defeat the divine beast. There you go. Makes sense. Probably just another way to come up here, too. Oh, is this a Mesmer statue, or what is this a statue of? No. I don't know. Sure do wonder how Radon's gonna go. These big boys aren't so bad. Whoops. Quiet. Yeah, too bad I hated it. Too bad I hate Splatoon Raiders with all my being. This is a good weapon. Watch this. That felt good. Oh. One too many. The revered Sparadash, man. No one cares. Alrighty. I'm gonna go up this side. Yeah. Cool looking place, huh? I remember this guy gave me a lot of trouble in my first playthrough. That tree looks important, huh? The airship's going well. Having a lot of fun. Only a couple big bosses left. They're big bosses, though. They may take many, many, many tries. A spell I'll never use, okay. Alrighty. They sneak up in the sky now. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a whole thing. Alright, it's got like dancing lion stuff. Come on, heal. Oh bullshit. Oof. No. Oh. God. Stop that. Horse. I don't have the right. What the hell? Oh, I do have the right. Twist ending. Well, here's one. What'd you leave here? Your fears. Oh. Could have done that at the beginning. Might have made you feel better. I got excited for a moment there, but right. I think I need 2 more. I've heard the Cleveland Zoo is nice at Christmas. I haven't been. I've only been to Pittsburgh Zoo, and only recently. I gotta do some more zooing. Oh, goody. What are you doing? Will you stop? There we go. Ah, lots of runes up here, huh? God, I'm so excited to hear what Grub says about the Saber interactive stuff tomorrow. Ugh. So close to killing those guys in one hit every time. There we go. Oh boy. Forgot that. We've got freaking... Ugh. Oh my god, I was like, I'm dodging all that perfectly. I didn't realize I was still taking damage. Anyways. Oof. Yeah, so we got the planet tiers here. Earth, wind, water, and all that shit. Couldn't think of the word Planeteer for a while. I kept wanting to say Power Rangers. I'm like, that's not right. I don't think it's news to Mary, though. Look, I would implore everyone not to give Mary a hard time. Look, if you feel like you need to. Mary, I think, told everyone, yes, you should continue to use your voices about it. I mean, use your channels to complain about it. Use the Twitch channels, because I would personally prefer it if people didn't, like, go to Mary's, like, personals, like, Blue Sky or something and harass her. Alright, up we go. Alright, let's go. Shit. Classic halfway thing. Oh, is this where I was a moment ago? Strong foe ahead. No. I've been here. Everything's dead. Never mind. Oh my god. God, I hate you. Oh boy. Swing! Thank God. If I run out of healing. Can't drop much. This better be something good. You guys shining like crazy. Well, yeah, you always need one of those sometimes. It's pretty good. Alright, there's like, where is it? I missed it. Let's do it again. There it is. Oh, I'm an idiot. Never pay for it though. It's a thing I won't use, and I'm gonna take some fall damage. Actually, I didn't. Looks like an important thing up ahead. I am not gonna parry a dog. I ain't summoning nothing. It's my healing situation, not amazing. Oh, I was like, can we get behind this one? So you're the wind guy? Yes, you are. Clip me somehow. Well, that's a lot of runes. Man, I did not see a thing in a moment, I gotta be honest. It's the Wind Waker. It has not ideal rune placement. Alright, now I get back up there. Oh god, is it really all the way back here? Where is this? I mean, I don't think the Planeteers are gonna respawn at least, so there shouldn't be any super difficult enemies along the way. Well, the fucking birds, though. Let's not try to just go past them. It's gonna end poorly. Please don't kill me, bird. I think I remember these birds now. You know what? I'm gonna try to just run. I hate them. I hate them so much. I don't want to fight these birds. Ah! Ah! This was a mistake! I don't like it. I used a lot of heals just there. Yeah, I'm probably very close. This is where I fought another... He's still here? They respawn? I'm running past you. This is the wrong way. Oh boy. Hello, found you. How's it going? Guess we're fighting. Actually, no, we're not. It's going so poorly. Screw you. We ain't doing this. Yeah, we're fine. I mean, I'd like to kill this guy once. Damn it. I don't want to run up past the birds again. I got my Wonder Swan licked by that too. You're right, Chuck. Dang. God, that's a good way of putting it. Holy shit. I should bring my Wonder Swan on my Chicago trip. I can't believe those Divine People will respawn. That's crazy. I don't remember us talking about Cleveland being the next Silicon Valley. I mean, I know there's talk of a data center somewhere by Grub. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, I remember back in the day, everyone thought Columbus was a big tech hub. And then I think that slowed down somehow. I don't know how or why. It did. Whoa, that was a lot of runes. I know they're not that important anymore, but it was still a lot of them, and I'm really mad. That was a lot of runes. Fuck yeah. Oh, I'm mad about that. I'm just not fighting these birds. I'm sorry. They suck so much. Yeah, the runes don't matter. I mean, health is health. I'll take a little bit of health every now and then, but it doesn't matter that much, right? What hit me? What's this shit? And it hit me again. That's fine. That's not gonna hit me. Yes, it is. He's coming. Oh, Lord, he's coming. Possibly backstab this guy. I feel like he's just gonna become aware of my presence. I do wonder if my other weapon would have been pancaking these guys. Okay. This is gonna help. I did this earlier. Oh boy. I still got some hits in. Backed into that one. Ow. Whatever. Okay, not whatever. That's what killed me a lot of times. Good enough. A little weird, but good enough. Whee. Hey. Yep, I was right here. Of course. Could do? Could do. Once he gets Skidoo level 19. NPC fight, right. Yeah, we're like right there. Where's the... There is like a fourth one somewhere in this map, and now I'm like, where the hell is that at? Maybe it's after you kill these guys. Might be the most shocking thing in the world, huh? May as well do the NPC fight.
It's been quite some time. It was never kindly Nicola, was it? The Erd Tree was leading you all along, so that you might ascend to lordship. Why come to these lands to begin with? I suppose it must be what His Eminence, or perhaps the Erd Tree, desired all along. The clashing of the favored lords, such that one would prevail. So be it. If you insist upon facing Nicola the Kind, then I will run you through whoever you might be. Don't tarry now.
Okay, this is to be summoned to fight them. This is not me summoning. This fight's sometimes hard, although my weapon art has some stuff. I did not summon. I'm an invader. It's different.
Don't you dare approach Nicola the Kind. Needle Knight Ledder, Dryleaf Dane, and our ally will never allow this.
And our ally whose name we don't know.
Just as the woman said it would be. Lord of the Erd Tree, Lord of Marika, you two deserve to face the reckoning.
That sucked. What the fuck was that? I just got exploded there. God, he's so close to killing him the first try. At least I don't have to worry about my runes. At least I just come right back here. Oh, I could summon somebody. Wouldn't that be cool? What even is that? No, we're too late in to mess around with the weapon. Those things at this point.
Don't you dare approach Miquella the Kind. Needle Knight led her.
We have to do this every time.
And our ally will never allow this.
This is the horn scent. There you are.
The woman said it would be. Lord of the Earth Tree, Lord of Marika, you two deserve to face the reckoning. Miquella,
That's good.
please, redeem our
Oh, god damn it. That's me able to bleed.
I'm sorry for speaking to you as a compatriot when you stood before the withered arm. By way of apology, I will reveal the marrow of my soul. Its needles that will stitch you into death.
That wasn't so bad. There we go. That's a lot of runes. Hey, they attacked me. Well, I guess not really. Kind of. Confusing. Look, now I can steal all their stuff. Sorry, Leda. This might be pretty good against this dude. It's even lighter. Less people. Well, yeah, lightning and holy are my concerns, right? It's not stealing if they're dead. I feel like everything I wear somehow looks like rags. We have not fought Bale yet. I'm just unlocking this Grace. We're not going to start fighting him yet. Probably not tonight. Definitely not tonight. I know there's one more scattered tree fragment in this area. I gotta find out where it is. Grace is right up there, right? There it is, though. Come all this way. There's the final boss past that gate. It's been a long road, getting from there to here. Been a long time, but my time is finally near. Okay, where's the last scatter tree fragment? from the... Okay. This complicated one here must be it, I think. Just before the Spiral Rose Cross Site of Grace. Spiral. I'm a Spiral Rise. Why did I say Rose? Just before this. Turn right the position of the kneeling horse and priest and go down the staircase to the right-hand side. At the bottom, drop off a broken ledge. Okay. So it's right before this. Don't see anything down there. Is it this staircase? That's a kneeling one. I think I see. Assist down here. Good. Oh boy. What do you want me to do again? Oh, I see. It's like right below. Just ever so slightly. Okay. No Sub-Zero falling. I think we do go down here, though. God, this is some intense stuff here. Oh, God. Hey, JSEC, thank you for 29 months. Appreciate it. Thank you. Ever feel the need to wire the house personally? No. But baby, I'm weird like that. God, this feels like Anna Orlando now. Alright. Hope you all got to watch a travelogue, by the way. It's very good stuff. Dan worked really hard on it. It's really, really good. How would I do a skill check? Well, I would call somebody and let them handle it. Another one of these, huh? This one I don't like the looks of. Gotta be honest. Am I just falling down there? Is it fine? Yeah, I mean, that's not going anywhere. It's fine. Alright, Danny's goats are very cool. Oh, really? Oh, really? I don't feel good about this. Jesus. This should be it. What else is over here? Ah. Really? Don't kill me. Oh my god. Oh, I thought I was dead. Thank god I healed finally. Okay. Jeez. I don't. Okay, let's go do that later. What's this over here? They're both shortcutty things. Where can these possibly go, you know? Down. Guess they have to go down. It seems just going back to the Dancing Lion area, to be honest. For whatever reason. I don't know why I would want to be back here. Maybe not. Ooh, 2 for 1. Oh, god damn it. Take a quick work with him. I backtracked, that's entirely possible. I might just roll back around again. The thing I wanted was the fragment. I can imagine there's much else I need at this point. Where are we? Warrior. There it is. Wind blades, I bet they're really cool. You should have power stance that chicken. Like, eat your nuggets, yeah. Right. And I'm sure this weapon's neat and all, but no, we're not using it. This holy damage. Anyhow. Let's... So, like... Somewhere... Like, here is actually another hippo that we have to like go the kind of mountain path and then go down this way. I think that would mean going over here. No, I mean, I don't think a penguin could perch on me. I'd be more concerned about the penguin. I'm not scared of penguins.
No more. I repent.
Well, what's wrong, Bale, dude?
Please spare me. Please spare me.
Don't worry, dude. We're gonna kill Bale. You're gonna be feeling much better. No more birds. What? Why not? Who's gonna invade me? Ancient Dragon Man? Great. That's... Is it Ornstein? Where are you? Wow, dude. You almost got me. Yeah, thanks for the fight. Can I go back on my horsey now? Thank you. God, we've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, huh? There's a lot to this game. I was just like, Lulu, it'd be fun to play Elden Ring again. Yeah, it's one of the high. I definitely see it. I can see why it's one of the highest rated games ever, especially of our time. I think I think it does have smart difficulty balancing because you can do things like summon and just kind of walk around, go around. You can make yourself powerful. And if you want to be hard, you can do things like this and like, I'm not gonna summon because I'm a hard butt. I'm gonna show you how hard my butt is by not summoning. You'll see. You'll all see. Oh shit! Right. Which way I want to go? The VOD told us it's been about 58 hours. Jeez. Now. Basically, I'm setting myself up here so that next stream I can maybe finish things. Again, maybe Sunday night, if not that Monday night. Depending on how these bosses go. Because they could go very poorly. These could both be very difficult. I'll tell you what's crazy about this weapon. The strong attack, significantly stronger than the light attack. You want to do that thrust. It's that guy from that hidden path up the mountain I never went to. He has a lot of health. It's dark here. What? Oop, there we go. Nice, I'll take it. Is that all that's up here? No. Yeah. Going back down. Hey there, Royal Lynn Boss. Thank you so much for following. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oops. I don't die. Oh, got your weapon. Do I need to do something here? You can just tell me. Am I supposed to put fire in this thing? I don't know. I'm not here to praise a puzzle. I'm just trying to get through this cave. Nolan? I remember a time I couldn't get the backseaters to shut up. I mean, this is the way I had to go through this cave, right? Maybe I don't. Maybe that's my problem. Is that I think this is the critical path, and it's not. But... You think I just drop? Really? You think it okay. You think it's fine? Bad boy. I do have a decent amount of souls. No, okay, that's an actual one. Alright, fine, let's go. It's fine. Easy. What's the boss? I've used up some heals. Can't be too bad yet. Oh god, yeah, an NPC, whatever. Another ancient dragon, man. Oh, okay, I shouldn't have done that. Or that. Cheesing? Well, I was just fighting. By cheesing, you mean attacking him? I'll fuck with you. Don't make me lick my Wonder Swan's ass again. It's my display of dominance. Alright, we're not doing any more healing health than that. 60 health. Oh, baby. Did I get a katana? Dragon Hunter's Great Katana. Hey, look at that. Alright, and I won't be goaded into licking the swan's ass either. Coated in the swan sauce. How's this? The hell? I know who left that. Alright, we are not fighting that dragon. We're running past this. And then actually going this way to start. Basically, I'm trying to get to the last hippo. Okay, you think they would put a freaking brace here? Alright, come on. Alright, this one powerful tree, I guess. The last hippo. It's a good Star Wars movie, yep. Big sheep. My name is Ray Hippopotamus. Has anybody seen episode 9 more than once? I don't know, I couldn't do it. God, you gotta give me a grace at some point, game. What is this? Not really what I came here for, but now my curiosity is piqued. And it kind of is. There's a grace. It's this dragon spell stuff that I will never use. Yeah. Here, Last Jedi, apologies, you only seen Rise of Skywalker. I mean, honestly, I think people who like Last Jedi are the ones who hate Rise of Skywalker the most.
On the throbbing heart, it would be the pure, the fullest annual consume.
Yeah, no thanks.
I am. There will come a day.
Hey, Brogan, thank you so much for 27 months. Really appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm supposed to go up there, right? Yeah, if I go with this tail. Maybe that way. It's one big dead dragon. I did enjoy that Baja Blast. Let's go this way. Yeah, I saw the special editions when they came out too. And that was like pretty. I think I had just seen the originals just a little bit before that. Oh, one of these canoe assholes is here. That's interesting. I don't think we have any reason to fight them, unfortunately. Be a waste of time. I'm so curious though. What could you possibly give me? I think you're gonna summon that. That's that thing from the beginning of the game. I think he's stuck on some rocks. Yeah, you're dead. There we go. The cookbook I won't use. Oh, good. Not the same as the beginning. That's got that sigh on. My bad. I didn't mean to embarrass myself. God, I don't think there's any reason to come this way unless you really want that last Shadow Tree fragment, or you want that spell, I guess. This way? There he is. Why didn't I stay on my horse to start the fight? Oh, damn. Sorry, dear. Alright, well, last one's on the mountain, somewhere on the way to Bale. Maybe we'll ascend a little bit, see if we can get that, see if we can at least get level whatever, Skadu tree. It would start going this way. Where is it exactly? Kind of pretty late in the mountain ascent. Well, yeah, pretty late. That might be in the Bale boss range for all I can tell here. But, yeah. It's like... I don't know, somewhere around there. Did we just get one more grace at the base of it? Then we can save the climbing up for next time. We'll see. Hey, Marcus Aurelius, thank you so much for 7 months. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Hope you're having a good evening. I'm gonna try to not fight this dragon. Oh my god. I guess not this way. Yeah, just this way. This is one of the coolest parts of the game, just doing this ascent. It looks so awesome. No? Yeah, it's a rough place to be a tree. At least we should be Skadu tree level 20 for the 2 final bosses. Yeah, let's keep climbing. So cool. And I'm not fighting any extra dragons. Not what I'm here for. Going up. Woo. This is so cool. Whee. Doesn't even look like a part of the map you should be in. Look out! What bad timing. There's another one. Like guts. Going up the Astro Crag. Or Aggro Crag, not Astro, Aggro Crag. Another dragon I don't want to fight, so I'm gonna go right past him. This guy's got a name though, but still, I don't want to. Oh, we have to, don't we? Never mind. Alright. I don't know how hard back can it be. Oh boy. Oh, that's gonna hit me again. Maybe there's a stake there. Yes, there is. Alright. Alright, just kind of got caught there. I don't think this is gonna be too bad. It's a lot more lightning. It's our big concern. Why'd I heal? A bit early, Mike. Ah, come on, don't fly. Where are you? Can't see you. Can't see you. Can't see anything. How am I not got hit by that? I'll take it. Jeez, I'm getting a little lucky here. Hurts like a bitch. Getting worse. What are you doing over there? Great. Sorry to run. Going through way too many heals, to be honest. That hurt me. Oh boy. Thought maybe I could wake up roll. Okay. Yeah, let's try. Let's do both of these. Extra defense. I guess the lightning can't hurt. Oh, you're starting with this. God. Oh. I wonder, let's try the old blood fang, see if that helps. Wider sweeps might help with the leggies a bit more. Don't worry, two-handed it. Oh, well, they have Halloween stuff at Jock Lindsay's. God, I love Jock Lindsay's. We had a good time when we were there. I remember they had some kind of like cheese dough thing. Oh, God damn it. I might need to stop worrying about these souls. See anything? I can roll this way. Now got caught. Yeah, that has range with it as well. Fire. Seems to be going better. Long ways to go, though. That could be worse. Ooh, got a bleed there. That's nice. Oh, there's the fire again. Ow. don't die. Man, every time I switch back to this weapon, I sure do seem to do better, huh? Not a ton of souls, but I'll take them. Oh, doubles. I'll take it. I'll take it. Definitely think this is probably going to be my weapon against Bale, honestly. Where is this fragment? I would call this area Jagged Peak, end of the boulder path. Huh. Might be behind me where this thing was. Okay, we go that way, obviously keep going, but yeah, I think I might have missed where the Skadutri fragment was. Would have helped me. I missed Peyton's message. Oh my gosh. Do I go? I wonder if I can just go during the week sometime. Work be hard. I'll make stream after the birthday go feast. Is this it right there? I just missed this? Yep. Look at that. I just hate... Yeah, there's nothing in Orlando that interests me, clearly. I'll tell you what, too. I think they have a Kermit Disney Annual Pass sticker at Hollywood Studios right now. Oh, look at the camera go up. Cool. Oh, more dead dragons. If my calculations are correct, we are could be level up 20 Skidoo. Look at that. Max Skidoo, baby. Alright. So basically, next time, which again, probably not till Sunday, but next time, all we really have to do is fight these bosses. We gotta fight Bale, and we gotta fight Promised Consort Radon. Say what else think like abuse Skadutri fragments? I mean, look, Chris likes... I mean... I don't want to, like, excuse that Universal Kids thing too much. It's not a lot. Oh, it's definitely cheaper than a normal Universal Park. Is it maybe the right price? I don't know. Chris went with his young children, and they all really liked it, you know? It is definitely a very young kids park. It is not really for... It is not for the theme park blogosphere. That's for sure. Thanks, Chuck. I'll see you tomorrow, too. Tomorrow's Thursday. Tomorrow feels like a Friday. Probably because I'm not working on Friday. All right. Did somebody have... Someone said they wanted me to stream somebody? Yeah, exactly, babe. I am open to that raid suggestion if they're still here. Oh, Dark Universe is awesome. Oh, I'm suddenly so tired. Killing a dragon's hard work. I'm sure Bill's not gonna have much help. Oh, it's too hot? Yeah, well, that's Hey, Epic Universe has that problem too. That's a heart park. Queso. Okay. I'm gonna say I had a queso. Is that right? Did I do that right? Case. Oh, does that look right, Feast? It's a joke. I don't. It went completely over my head. Sorry. That's not a real person. Queso. Like you're like doing like a cheese. He's got like, oh, they're very popular. I see. That's a joke. Who are they? Why do they have 61,000 viewers? What the hell? That's too many. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to Giant Bomb forever. Because I got nothing and I'm going to bed. Yeah, I've already done it, Lance. I'm tired. I just need to get this raid through so I can go to sleep. Giant Bomb forever. There we go. All right. All right, everyone. Thanks again. See you tomorrow for wasteful dump truck and big walking, all the fun stuff. Have a good night, and bye-bye. Woo.